by one every single time we do this.
You might be onto something, but I don't know. Needs more research.
Definitely. So, welcome everyone. Even if the 146th only metaphorically happened, I kind of lost track at that point, so we're going to call it the 147th. Um, Today we have the ever lovely Fluffy Zai,
Hi.
and in the background with the fluff wand, we have cute pencil case. And I guess there's me. Hi.
Yeah, there's a zombie dude. How you all doing today?
It is just us. Um, oh no, Binky's here. Hi, Binky.
Hi, Binky.
Same rules as always apply. If you got any art, feel free to submit it to us. If
Send
you
it
got any
to a
questions,
person.
yes, send it to our persons. I need it mailed, uh, preferably with prepaid postage.
Oh, there's a little art of us appearing in the little
It's
thing.
adorable.
So cute. Look at it.
If there's extra candy inside the envelope, this will definitely increase your chances of being critiqued. All right, let's start this off. So we have a picture by Null Serene. They say
Is it top left?
top left, yeah. Been procrastinating on actual drawing a full pone for like a year in lieu of just trying to draw the legs or head, usually unsuccessfully. Figured I should actually try to construct a full horse for once. Super aware of a lot of the of a lot or most of the issues. Just figured I should actually post something so I can become comfortable with the idea of sharing, which I'm usually not at all. General lines aren't great, and I kind of just decided not to fix most of them. I was really just trying to actually finish something. I guess, haha. As far as I
Yeah.
can tell, it definitely vaguely resembles a horse, at least. So that's one step. Okay, so they
Yeah.
don't
I mean,
have.
I do sort of understand the sentiment. Like, yeah, you're just getting things finished. I think that is admirable. And I do recognize that you probably know a lot of where the problems are already. But we can go over some of them just so everything's clear and you're super on the ball with everything.
Totally important.
Yeah. I
The
think it's really cool that you've tried to use line weight with this. Like here you got thicker line. It does work in some places that you got like thicker line on the top of the hair and then lesser on the bottom. But in some ways it's a little bit too unbalanced because some of the lines are a bit obviously thicker than others. Like this one could be thicker. I think a little bit more balancing would work. Generally, thicker lines. It depends on the art style you're going for, but like thicker lines typically should be reserved for big main parts and thicker areas, and thinner lines should be reserved for smaller details. That's it. It depends on the style. You can also use line weight, like thicker colors where there are thicker lines where there are darker colors in the picture, or lots of shadows going on. But it depends how you draw, and that's probably not relevant to you at this point. So I'd say go more balanced for now until you properly understand shape and form, and then you can focus on using those line weights to create small details. Um, One major thing right off the bat is there's a hugely obvious tangent here, where this line meets with the body. What a tangent is, if you can see, these lines meet. Ooh, I lost my pen. These lines meet up, so that means that we're seeing this straight line. It's going along here. So you don't want that because it's not actually what's happening. So if we do this and we just like split up the way the colors look in the hair and we had the body come up to here, then there's there's a disconnect here. So we know that that's not the same line. If that makes any sense.
makes sense to
Kind of
me.
like down here. Like if you see this, these lines are not lined up. So that's good. It means that we don't get the illusion of the leg like continuing into the hair.
Uh, so my suggestion with these blue lines that I've done, pull the front legs out just a little bit. Reason I would say that is right now the hooves actually moving into the body. So despite the fact that you've given them, here, let me go to purple for this. You've given them a pretty thin body, which is perfectly a-okay. There's still a hip there, and unless if she's like digging on in, you're gonna have the hooves out forward, and if they're in front of each other like you're trying to do in your picture, you're gonna have, well, obviously a lot more forward than the other because it's got to clear an entire hoof. Now, hoof generally, like if we base it off of your bottom hooves here, which should be the same as your leg hooves, like your front leg hooves, it's going to be that wide. So you got quite a bit of space to clear there. So I just move them up a little bit. Or you could visually separate the legs a bit more. Easy way of doing that is turn this leg to the viewer. And you turn out their hip doing this. Go, wah. You can still hide it behind the leg. But now you've given them a lot more room to store those hooves. Yeah, and that's all I got.
So, some advice I have. I don't know like how your process generally works, or like whether you work like entirely digitally, or whether you work in like a sketch pad and then scan or take a photo or whatever. I'm not sure what you do, but I feel like you've definitely got some nice shape and form going on. Like your mane is has a very nice, confident like weight to it. Like there's a lot of volume. I really like that. You've got some lovely proportions going on. I think it's really good. What I think you can work on is making your mane a little bit more confident. Like the lines I see, they comes out and you've got lots of very gentle curve. Oh, that's not actually part of the mane. That's an eyebrow. But the line just sort of just gently curves over here and then just like stops, and you got the face. What you could focus on is sort of like is working on having a much more pronounced set of like overlaps and lines to make the mane feel a bit more like it's there. You can even have like a little sort of false start. Then you got like the main portion of the mane. Then perhaps you can do the same sort of thing again. Like count. Oh, this comes in, and then you got like another part comes out. And then you go back. So it's like, okay, I've got to have this like spiky part. So then where we had this little bit here, you like, okay, that's where the color goes. Um, and then sort of like work out, make your shapes a lot more flowy. So like if I were to do this on here, let's go look let's work on this shape. That's kind of fun. So there, I'm gonna make this sort of a bit more confident. I'm assuming this is sort of like a cut off mane. What you can do is like do like a little chip there, maybe just make it look like it's got some texture. We can let's see, what was I doing? We can have the color go like this, have a much more pronounced spike there, and then like have this actually curve around with the mane. Perhaps then join here where we've got this little double spikes. And like this part will be pink, and the other part will be blue. There's stuff like that just to make it sort of feel like it has a bit more flow to it. You can just do what you like, be creative with it. But I think working on the sort of confidence of the shapes is good. I would try and separate where these two lines come up, because that kind of looks like your mane is doing this, and that's fine. That's a perfectly valid mane shape. I always like to have like a little bit coming up from behind the ear anyway. But whatever you do, like if this is an eyebrow, make it obvious. One sort of rule of thumb I stick by, of many, is it's go clear or not at all. Like if a line's going to just barely clip past something, really make it overlap or make it clear it whatsoever. So like this eyebrow here, I would try and make the mane, even if it cuts off a bit more of the eye, go completely clear of the eyebrow, so it's obvious they're separate. If that makes sense, and then have more overlap here across the face. Reason being, because if you have the lines like just barely touching, it can confuse the brain as to what's actually going on, and stuff just kind of gets in the way of each other, and you don't really want that to happen. Now, CPC's done some pose drawing over here. I don't know if she wants to speak on that or write on that.
Nope.
No. Bones. You're just showing like the joints and stuff you could do there. Yeah, and that's definitely a good idea to do as well. What CPC has done, where you show like the body structure. You don't have to go to a full on like you see like the references of bone structures and they're each like color coded, and you don't have to go in like a full on like skeletal construction, but doing something to show the how the legs are positioned so that it makes sense and it's comfortable is very good. Then that helps you build up where everything is. Like you can look at this and say, okay, well I know I have a horrible color pick. Oh, hold on. So you're like, I know this here is the thigh. So then like you sort of imagine like a circle around that. Then you build up the thigh here, based around like what you're envisioning. So it really helps to build up the weight of your character's anatomy.
Yeah. All right.
I don't have anything else though. So good luck. This looks really good so far. I love how your style's coming. I think you're gonna do great.
Let's move on to our next one. Scrolling off to the left. Yes, you got to scroll completely. No, off to the left. We're just going to go off the canvas.
Off the canvas and back on the other side.
Yep. All right. This one is by... Who's this? This is Farg 2003. I redesigned my main OC. What do you think? So I actually have two pictures here. I hope I grabbed the right one. Oh, no, I didn't.
Hold on, folks.
Do, 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 do. Wait, we got, oh no, the music. Where'd it go? Resizing. This thing's so big.
Oh. Also, I was gonna continue on the joke from earlier and be like, you scroll so far to the left, you go off the canvas and you go into last week's stream. And then you just wait there for a week and then you rejoin this one on the right part of the canvas.
Alright, I'm just gonna paste it at the bottom. No reason in pasting it over. There we go. Down under all the horses. So we have their old one, which is more simplistic, and then their new one, which adds a whole lot more detail. Pretty sure that's what they mean, but yeah, that looks like it.
I like your style of horn magic. It's cool. Yeah, you've got a really nicely defined style. I think it's really cool. It's interesting that you've chosen to use a lot of jagged shapes in your style, because that's it's specifically something that MLP tries to avoid, is using straight lines. So it's a very obvious stylistic choice, and I think it works. You definitely used it in a way that you've made it work. That's really cool, because it could have gone completely wrong. But it's not. The tail actually looks like a feather. I don't know if that's intentional, but it really looks like a feather to me. It's really cool. So a lot of the things that I want to sort of critique on would be, this is too square, this needs to be soft and round, because I'm used to my ponies being soft and round, but that's not the style. I do think this horn could be turned up a little bit. It looks like it's kind of poking a little bit too forwardly on the head.
I would shrink the shoulder a bit. Right now, your shoulder is almost as big as your hip, which isn't right because it's a completely different bone structure hanging around there. I mean, it gives this a hilariously muscular look, but I'm not quite sure if you're going for that, that sort of look, or if you're just trying to define that shoulder a bit more. I would shrink it down, go look at Baron Eagle. They do a very wonderful defined set of arms, same as NC Mares and KP Shadow Squirrel. They all do very defined arms on their horses, and you'll see what I mean by that shoulder, where you can get this nice thinner look to it, but still keep it well defined. Let's use the word 6 times in a row. I would also bring the hip up a little bit. Right now, we see a little line going down, which suggests that it would be doing what this blue line's doing here. Doing something like that. That's not right. What forms the back there is actually the hips, and it's this fun little bean shape instead is what's driving the body. We got hilarious little bean. So I just bring that hip up.
Yeah. So I think the as much as it might be a personal choice, I think that booty should be toned down a little bit. It's very much, if we look at what's originally there, it's very much like sticking out and then caving in, and that's like not really what we want. So you can give it some weight to it, but really it's got to be a nice gentle curve coming down here and then leading into this bumpy bit.
Definitely.
Yeah. So now we've got like the nice bean body, and we've got the thigh, and then we've got the bones. Color is awful on this.
Were you doing that puke green?
No, it was like a violet from what I randomly selected before, but it's so hard to see on that brown, like because of the values. This is easy. See?
I really like the float, like their magic that they made. It's such a cool. Yeah.
I like the glow of like between the horn gaps. It's cool.
Yeah, I would make sure though, if you're gonna do awesome magic and make it like so you can very much see it, I would make sure we can see that it's surrounding the horn, not just a flat layer behind it.
It's always nice to have like different sort of interpretations of magic and how you can be creative with that. I've tried a few different things. I don't draw unicorns too often, nor them using magic when I do, but it can be really fun. One thing I like to do is like give the horn kind of like a passive glow, so like of the horn, like the inside will be kind of white. Let's see if I can actually show this with my. What is my pen doing? That's really weird. So like the inside will have kind of a white glow and not have like a glow around it. And then I'll put like a bunch of speckles. So I've got like a airbrush thingy that'll just like put random speckles, so I'll just like brush them all over. I try to make it look like they're kind of like floating off of the horn and floating off like glitter.
Gotta be careful with those speckles. They're weapons grade. I do notice we're missing an ear. We have a line that you've formed for the top of an ear, and it's sticking above your hairline. So I just stick just the corner of the other ear out. And I might just give a small little power sanding to the chin. It looks like you're going for a lot of sharp edges, which work with, your mane and that, and your tail, all sorts of sharpness. But it would be very hard to get that pointy of a chin without making it pointy chin hair. I know it's a cartoon, and saying it's not real or it doesn't make sense because reality is different is weird, but people like to have things that are based somewhat in reality. I don't know. I might just be off in left field.
I actually think it's a very square-looking draw as well, but then that's exactly what I was saying earlier. Like, there's loads of things where it's like, oh, this is too square. Oh, everything in the style is like square and straight. That makes sense. Except the eyes and the pretty round eyes. Something Steve pointed out is the hooves, like the leg has this single curve that the hooves follow from, whereas they should really like have a sort of bump out. I do like how you've drawn the hooves. They're very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Cloven hoof style. When I do the legs, of course, in the show they're just like a round. How I'll do them, and I've sort of taken a little bit of this from some other artists. I'll have like a very jagged. Well, I started doing sort of like this, not exactly, but that's a bit too flat. But yeah. What I'll do now is I'll bring it out and then curve it back down again. So it's like do it, and then I'll come around. It's sort of like goes out this way, and then it goes back down this way. My pen is being really weird. Can you see this?
Yeah.
It's like, whoop. It like
I thought you were
jumps in
just like
opacity.
sneezing.
It jumps in opacity when I like hold it down to a certain degree. Let's see if I can zoom. I can't remember how to. Do I have to use the freaking? I know that scrolls the page. I hate having to use the mouse. Like, I have to like specifically use my left hand and reach over to find like where the mouse is and use that. And I can't. And now I have to reach over my tablet and use my other hand on my keyboard.
Your life is hard.
Scroll wheel. God.
Someone get him a helper to man the mouse. Or we could get a mouse to man the mouse.
So pixelated?
Q Pencil Case, your job is to go every Tuesday to CPC's house.
Be my computer mouse.
There you go.
I want this to be drawn. I want this to be a picture. Yeah, gosh. See, when I'm using the tablet, I don't want to have to use my scroll wheel. It's annoying. But yeah, okay. I think I've got everything now. My pen is just really pixelated and horrible looking. Little mouse pen. I'm not. I'm not sure where am I. You lost your mouse.
All right, let's move on to the next one.
Yes, next. Here.
We're gonna do Luna.
Ooh, it's a badass looking Luna.
I like CPC's explanation behind this.
Oh my god.
Yes, my son.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So you know not normally when it's like control and minus and control and plus to like zoom out and zoom in respectively. Yeah. This specifically has to like define plus as like when you like because it's like the equals key, but then it's like you hold shift and press it to get plus. So like I specifically have to hold control shift and plus to zoom in. That's really weird. God, job file. Why? Let me move around your canvas more easily. Okay, what do we got here?
We have one by Dragbox1. No, it's Dragbox 1 day old. There we go. Eclipse fan art I did last year was inspired by this awesome fanfic reading. I can't bother spelling out that.
Freaking Ninja Gaiden who claw blades and spear stuff is pretty cool.
Sorry, I'm new to Reddit. Here's the YouTube link. Blah blah blah. I've never got. No, okay. Yep, they're just looking for a general critique.
Okay.
Ah!
What?
I clicked on the YouTube link.
Oh. I think, first thoughts, I think if you made the horn glow a bit stronger, because we can see this, but it almost looks like just like part of the handle is like magic or techie and glowing or whatever. If you made it a bit more obvious that there's like a big like magic surrounding this and surrounding her horn, it would make it a little bit more obvious to see that that's what's going on at first glance, that she's holding it.
You mean like down the entire length of it? Just a
Not
shimmer?
necessarily, but at the very least like letting us know that it's being held. It doesn't have to be the entire length, but just a bit more pronounced, because at the moment it's very like in line with the stuff. It's like this. It's just like if you imagine there's like a section of it where it's like a battery that's like glowing or something, if it was like a futuristic thing. But if it was a bit more like, woo, you have to make it like a wobbly thing, but like just something a bit more of a sort of radial glow on the horn, and a bit more sort of showing the handle being grasped, might make it a little bit more easily noticeable.
Wow.
Circled.
Sorry, I was just trying to figure out the bean here. The body is very elongated. So what I'm seeing right here is the back goes down here, follows along this line, and then her hip comes out here. So that means the spine is doing turned and coming around. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Why is my pencil more pixely than yours?
I have
There.
smooth edges.
Oh, there we go. For some reason it switched onto the pencil. I don't know why. It's really weird. Drop. Oh God. Okay, so there we go. Problem solved. But yeah, that's. I mean, the alicorns do typically have a very, like, stretchy, shapely body anyway. But you do have like a very like you got like thin neck, very thick chest. Then you got like the thin belly again.
And the way the hip, like the, sorry, the up here at the shoulders, it's turned. How can I show this? It's turned like halfway, but then down at the hip, it's.
Yeah, there's a twist going on.
Yeah, it's major twist though. Really, really quick. Because look where the wings are, and then look where the hip goes. That's gonna hurt.
The wings are is already in line with the spine, sort of. So that the wings are already like twisted, but like the leg makes it look like it's like side on.
Mm-hmm. And I get what they're trying to do, rearing pose, but trying to give it to look as though she's turning off towards the side. Makes a lot of sense, but what I think I would do to give this a lot more... Oh, look at this.
I'm trying to... Wait, let me erase now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you move the shoulder over.
Well, no, where that arm is placed is that way too far down for how that body's positioned. So I'd take that entire arm, move it up.
What I would do actually... Oh, I can't erase your thing. So this is the forearm here. And just have this come down a bit more. Get your overlap in, and have this really come at a more pronounced angle. So we're looking at it more from behind, if that makes sense. And then have the other leg sort of come down, or maybe not exactly in its position because it'll be covered by the wing, unless you move the wings. The other leg come down sort of more at the back, like that, and then have the body's a bit more faced in like this direction.
Yeah, I agree, and I would definitely take the wings and bring the one on the far side of the body. I would extend it out, and extend the one on the close side of the body up. And that's going to get them out of the way, but still give them the shape as though she's rearing and trying to really make her body larger.
Because moving the wing on the right side of the canvas won't really... It will like cover up a lot, but the one on the left isn't really going to cover up anything if you move it upwards, because it's just like empty space. In fact, it will allow you for more like battle going on.
The only reason I'd move both is because leaving the other one just sort of flop. Yeah, if you do it up there, you're gonna block all that the hoof detail that they're trying to add.
Yeah, exactly. And this you move the hooves down, but the whole like rearing position, has the hooves up typically.
So if you're to keep with the twist of the body and just bring it out even towards the camera, just like, hi, I'm a wing.
Yeah, so it's like going for a different perspective rather than being out this way. Still got horrible colors going on. Instead of coming out this way, it's going like, up.
I like your bubblegum pink you just chose.
Nice color.
We've just covered this thing in lines.
We just graffitied all over this.
Their coloring and shading is very good though, and the details, like the stuff hanging around inside the mane is really cool. Little bits, especially the background. The background's really adding to this. And, even the way they detailed their clouds, where they're nondescript, but they're sort of spiraling around the eclipsing sun.
Hmm. Yeah, I can see that.
It's definitely framing everything into this picture. It's really cool. Done a great job with that. Just think some minor alterations to how the body sits and how she's throwing around her weight, and it'll be there. Now, the secret to getting these poses down pat is you want to genetically modify a pony so it has wings and a horn, and then you're going to get it to do a bunch of posing for you.
Or just get like a life-size model Flash plushie.
I've been trying to find a ball jointed pony model that I can 3D print so I can use it for more interesting posing. There used to be them, but they all seem to have disappeared from the internet. There's like remnants of it, but I can never find the file.
Oh.
All right, you ready to move on to the next one?
Yeah, I'm just fluffing. So yeah.
Stealing CPC's job. All right, the last one we have on our list right now is by Fruit Is. They're back again. Hello, Fruit Is. It is weekly challenge primaries. They actually submitted this last week. Sorry we didn't get to it. We had to do other things, such as
My
not getting
computer
things to
exploded.
work. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, LD was held up with work, so I was gonna be doing the stream. But then right before the stream, as I was preparing, everything decided to take just a massive dump, and I just
Gross.
couldn't get it fixed. And then one by one, everything was breaking. It was like, oh, this is broken now. Like Discord's broken, and like OBS is broken, and my settings window's broken. Now control panel, now the whole of Explorer.exe is broken. I'm restarting my computer. Now it's updating for 3 hours. Like, yeah, the stream didn't happen. I'm really sorry. It's typically the way it goes. So, did they have any questions for this one?
Uh, so sorry about the bad rushed coloring. I really wanted to make this on time. Fire and Water is what this is called. I don't have much of a good idea, but I still like it. I almost certainly I did something incorrectly, or there's something I could improve on. So I'd like some critique. If you have any, please, especially the pose. I think I kind of got it, but not really.
Yeah, I'll do some stuff on that. Just give me a sec.
I'm
It's
definitely
always really hard to see our lines when we're doing this, so I'm just going to do something real quick, as I tend to do in our streams. Because I love how much easier it makes things. Boom. I'm going to turn this up, and you can see what we're drawing. And we can turn it down again later if we need to work on the colors. Okay, so I mean, you got like some lovely posing going on. I really do like that. I'm making things. I know I'm dreading what I'm doing because I never use like a bright color like this for my under sketching. I always want to use like a lighter color so then I can do a heavier color on top. Anyway, so I think the most part is just working out the shape of the body here because there's definitely some ways it could be a bit more, a bit straighter, if you know what I mean. I guess it's just about refining the anatomy, and it isn't easy. Ponies are a lot harder to get the anatomy right than we think they're going to be when we start, but yeah. So this foreleg is very, very short. Like, look how tiny this is. And then you've got this huge leg, which granted that might be the shoulder, and I can understand that, but it kind of looks like you got like this going on, but it's a really short leg, and then you've got really long foreleg. So this is the shoulder, and it's going to go down, and we've got this going on. Right, that's not perfect, but that's an idea. Let's just start. So we're going to work on the shoulder. We've got like the elbow here. Actually, I'm gonna bring that down a little bit more. Elbow. We've got the top of the leg, and it comes down to the hoof, which is gonna be nice and thick. And then come back up here. And I actually like to do like the sort of frontal bend of the shoulder there. But yeah, there we go. And the same for this leg. Let's see, so that's sort of bending off outwards. But you've got like a very thin part, and then the hoof sort of, it looks like the leg sort of folds almost like paper. So we want to make sure that you get some nice tight and thick anatomy in there. So I mean, you got the overlap right. So I didn't do it right there. There we go. You have the overlap sort of correct. To show like the direction it's going, assuming that is what you're actually doing. And again, overlap to the elbow. I admit I am not good with these sort of leg poses. I really struggle to get the shape of these right. So I apologize for this not being very good. But yeah, and this is the underside of the hoof here. Nope, that's way too far over. It'll just be sort of side on, I think. I don't know. You can sort of refine what you know what the poses you were trying to do. I'm sort of trying to work that out myself. In fact, I actually think it would be more normal, more frontwards. It's perfectly okay to like redo things when you're doing art because like you're not gonna work it out first time. I should have done that in purple, but maybe. This is like terrible posing, so like you can fix it up later to the pose you're actually trying to do. But I'm just trying to sort of show the balancing of the anatomy, getting things to be the same like width. That is a much clearer color. Where did that color come from? Oh well.
The color wheel, I assume. Probably a mixture of red, green,
I
and
was
blue.
using like purple. I switched to the pink, and I switched back to the purple. And now it's like a really dark blue that's easy to see. Draw part is an enigma. Now it's just the blue. The pink's gone. I'm so confused by this program. Oh my gosh. So, the same with the back. You've got like the bean body, thigh. We're going to work out like the posing here. So, okay. I'm going to switch. So this might be confusing. I'm switching my colors now. There we go. I do really like your posing. I like how there's sort of like wide spread of the legs, getting that balance out. So you got a nice wide center of gravity. So we're gonna follow this line I've done on the back, going down, and you got like a nice, just like you've done with your picture, just sort of changing this sort of section here on the back. Just go out, come down to that. Your back leg is actually really good. That's absolutely fine. Obviously you sort of dipped into the water there. That's cool. Your back leg's actually really good. So that's cool. Just sort of out like it's mostly the body I wanted to look at. So then again, you can see where I've drawn this like bean shape. We love the bean, the pony bean, because that's the sort of rule of thumb shape that we use for the body. And of course, because it's always mandatory with line drawings, lots and lots of fluffy pony inside of us. Just kidding. It's not actually mandatory. It's just good. Your head's actually pretty good. Your head doesn't need much work. The horn could maybe be a bit bolder, more pronounced, make it a little bit bigger, but that's an optional thing. It's a stylistic choice. It's at a good angle though. Like that's really good. Your ears are a bit sort of like this. They look kind of like a surfboard. They're in a good position. Like this. This is where they're supposed to be. But yeah, have them. Got to sort of define the shape nicely where they go out. You just a little tip, and then back again. And I don't really think we would, if we were to do one on the other side of the ear, I don't think that would be visible. So there we go. LD can take a breather.
I completely agree. No ear on the other side. I was staring at it going, nah, it's fine, it's fine. You win this round.
CPC is making your fire fluffy because fluff is really important.
You should not hug fire, even if it's fluffy fire.
Maybe give some more shapeliness to your muzzle here. Like I was just doodling and then I was like, oh, actually that looks really good. I typically like the muzzles to poke upwards just a little bit, like where the nostril is, and then sort of have some definition if I just go to the side. Some separation between the mouth and the nose, like that. Rather than how it is in the show where it's just like, here's one face. Like that just doesn't look right to me. Yeah, there we go. And I mean, like the The rest of it's just really, really nice. At this angle, you don't really need to have like the other side of the face visible, so that's perfectly cool. You could maybe get like a little nip of the cheek there if you wanted to, just to make sure you got that shapeliness in. But yeah, that's all good. It's really just the front legs and the body, the general body shape. I was just doing the head so I could sort of make sure I've worked out like where the neck's coming in. Actually, I might raise this back just a little bit. Let's see if we can. Oh, let's have a look. It's an important part of drawing to like experimenting, retrying things, moving stuff around, exploring the shape of things. Like, what if I make this a little bit thicker? What if I push this curve out a little bit? So don't be afraid to experiment like that. There we go. I think that's pretty decent. Like I said, your back leg's really cool. So you got this, and there we go. I think that's awesome. Yeah, you might want to just fix these mess of a front hooves that I did because I don't think that's remotely the sort of angle you were doing. Maybe that back leg is meant to be pushing off in the background, like it's controlling the fire or something. I don't know. But you can decide what it is the pose you're doing and try and find like references and stuff. Just I hope that the anatomy stuff I've showed helps.
I really have nothing to say because you went over everything. But I do have a response to CPC. You can't hug Flame Princess because she will burn you too. Jake had to wear a fire retardant vest.
Finn, but yes.
Yes. I'll get my character.
That is actually I do shit. Finn and Flame Princess. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else have any questions? Any other art they'd like critiqued? Any other fluffies eyes they'd love to hug and bleep?
Gotta come over here to Southampton. Give me a hug.
Not Southampton, America.
Huh? There's a Southampton in America?
Yes.
Oh, you steal all of our place names. Like there's a Hampshire.
Yep.
Which is also where I am. Southampton's in Hampshire.
Waterloo.
Yeah.
Stole that from you.
There's something else as well. It's like, oh, these guys have one of those.
Is the I think I don't know. Probably there's probably one. All right. Well, it looks like no one else has any other questions for us or any other art they'd like to submit. So I guess we'll call it a week. See y'all next time for 148 of these. I feel we need a little asterisk on that. Bye.